Imagine a janitor walking down a quiet school hallway late at night. The fluorescent lights flicker overhead, and the sound of his mop echoes against the lockers. Everything feels normal, until he notices a foul smell drifting from one of the rows. At first, he assumes it's just spoiled food left behind. But when he unlocks the row to investigate, what he finds doesn't belong in any school. It was the discovery that would send shockwaves through an entire community and reveal a dark secret that had been hiding in plain sight. This is the disturbing story of the horrific evidence found inside a high school locker. Willow Ridge High wasn't the kind of place people expected headlines to come from. It was a suburban school in a quiet town, where teachers were loved, students were competitive, and the biggest scandal usually involved cheating on a math test. But in the fall of 2017, everything changed. The janitor, Harold Jenkins, had worked at the school for almost 20 years. He knew the building better than anyone. So when he noticed the smell one October night, he knew it wasn't something as simple as a forgotten lunch bag. It was acrid, metallic, and rotten. The kind of smell that told your brain immediately, something is wrong. When he reported it to the principal, they both assumed maybe a rodent had gotten stuck in a vent or locker. But when they opened the locker in question, number 238, the truth was far worse. Inside the locker wasn't trash. It wasn't food. It was a small box, carefully taped shut. And inside that box were blood-stained clothes, crumpled papers, and what looked like bones. Police were called immediately. The school was evacuated, and what started as a janitor's late-night discovery turned into a full-scale crime scene. Detectives confirmed the clothes were covered in human blood. The bones were later identified as fragments from an animal, believed to be part of a disturbing ritual or test run. But perhaps the most chilling part wasn't the blood or the bones. It was the notes found stuffed inside the box. They weren't school assignments. They were confessions. Pages upon pages filled with detailed descriptions of violence, graphic fantasies of harming classmates, teachers, and even random strangers. And at the bottom of each note, there was a single chilling line written in red ink. "This is only the beginning." Police immediately began questioning students. Who had access to locker 238? Who would go this far? The school records showed the locker belonged to a sophomore named Ethan Miller, a 16-year-old who, on the surface, seemed quiet and unremarkable. He wasn't popular, but he wasn't bullied either. Teachers described him as a little withdrawn, but no one thought he was dangerous. When officers searched Ethan's bedroom at home, they uncovered even more disturbing evidence. Sketches of his classmates with X's drawn over their faces, maps of the school marked with strange symbols, and a journal outlining what he called the final day. During questioning, Ethan barely flinched. Detectives described him as unervingly calm, like Daniel Cooper in the case you just heard earlier. When asked why he had written such notes or hidden blood-soaked clothes, he simply replied, "Because I wanted you to find them." That response shook investigators. This wasn't just a troubled kid lashing out. This was someone who wanted to create fear, to control the narrative, turning his fantasies into evidence deliberately planted for discovery. But here's the shocking twist. Forensic testing revealed the blood on the clothes didn't match any unsolved local cases. It wasn't from a stranger. It wasn't even from Ethan's classmates. It was his own. Ethan had been cutting himself, collecting his own blood, and staging these scenes as practice for something far bigger. His journal detailed that he wanted to escalate, to one day make the walls of the school remember him forever. Police had intercepted him just in time. Ethan was charged with possession of threatening material, intent to commit violence, and cruelty to animals. But because of his age, the case became a battleground in court should he be tried as a minor or as an adult. Parents in Willow Ridge were horrified. Some argued Ethan needed mental health treatment. Others believed he had shown too much planning, too much intent, to ever be given another chance. The school never reopened locker 238. The number was retired permanently, the row sealed, as if the building itself wanted to forget. This case left investigators and parents shaken. It was proof that sometimes the darkest secrets aren't hidden in remote places. They can exist right inside a school, inside a child's mind, inside a locker that hundreds of students walk past every day. And it raises a haunting question. How many other signs are being ignored? How many other quiet kids are hiding stories just like Ethan's waiting to be discovered. The disturbing case of Ethan Miller reminds us that danger doesn't always come with a warning. Sometimes, it hides behind a locker door, waiting for the wrong person to find it, or the right one to stop it. And while police prevented Ethan's fantasies from becoming reality, the chilling evidence he left behind still lingers in memory. Because one thing is certain, when cops discovered what was hidden in that school locker, they didn't just stop a crime. They uncovered a nightmare. If you found this story chilling, you'll want to stay with us, because the next case we're covering is even darker. A case where police didn't just find notes or blood, but something far worse.